All right, let's dive right into the fascinating world of English language basics. Our first stop is understanding the basic components of a sentence. Now, if you think of a sentence as a plane, it needs three main parts to fly smoothly: the subject, the verb, and the object. The subject, that's the who or the what of the sentence. It's the person, place, thing, or idea that's doing or being something. For example, in the sentence, John reads a book. John is the subject because he's the one doing the action. Next, we have the verb. A verb is essentially an action word. It expresses what the subject is doing, or the state of being of the subject. Continuing with our example, reads is the verb as it tells us what John is doing. And lastly, we have the object. This is the what or the whom that the subject's action is directed towards. In our sentence, the book is the object because that's what John is reading. So, in a nutshell, a sentence is like a mini story. It has a main character, the subject, an action, the verb, and often something or someone that the action is happening to, the object. That's it for now. Remember, understanding these basic components is like learning the ABCs of sentence construction. Once you have a handle on these, you're well on your way to mastering the art of creating simple sentences. In our next segment, we're going to talk about how to arrange these components in the correct order to form grammatically correct sentences. Stay tuned. Moving on to our next topic, let's discuss the correct order of these components to form a grammatically correct sentence. English is known as an SVO language, which stands for subject, verb, object. This is the basic structure for most simple sentences. Remember the sentence we discussed earlier. John reads a book. That sentence follows the SVO structure perfectly. John, our subject, comes first. Then we have reads, our verb, and finally a book, our object. Now, imagine if we switched the order around and said a book reads John. That's a bit confusing, isn't it?
It sounds like the book is doing the reading, and that's not what we want to convey.
So, order is crucial in English sentences. In some languages, you can switch around these components, and the sentence would still make sense. But in English, we generally stick to the SVO structure to avoid confusion. However, do note that this is a basic guideline. As you get more comfortable with English, you'll learn that there are scenarios where you might switch components around for emphasis or style. But that's a story for another day. So remember your SVO subject, verb, object. This is your magic formula for constructing simple, grammatically correct sentences in English. In the next section, we're going to explore the different types of sentences: declarative, interrogative, exclamatory, and imperative. So, don't go too far. Now let's delve into identifying different types of sentences. Just as there are different types of stories, there are different types of sentences: declarative, interrogative, exclamatory, and imperative. First, we have declarative sentences. These are the sentences we use most often to declare or state something. For example, the sky is blue. Simple, straightforward, and to the point. Next, let's talk about interrogative sentences. These are your question sentences. Anything that begins with who, what, where, when, why, or how, or any sentence where you're asking a question falls under this category. For instance, where is the library? Then we have exclamatory sentences. These sentences show strong emotion or surprise. They're the sentences that often end with an exclamation mark. For example, what a beautiful sunset. And finally, there are imperative sentences. These are sentences that give a command or make a request. For example, please close the door. So, understanding these 4 types of sentences can help you express a wider range of thoughts and emotions. Just remember, the key is to use the right type of sentence at the right time. That's what helps make your communication clear and effective. In our next segment, we'll be looking at how to use appropriate punctuation to enhance readability and meaning in simple sentences. So keep watching. Onwards now to our next topic, using appropriate punctuation to enhance readability and meaning in simple sentences. Punctuation marks are like traffic signals for readers. They guide the flow of your sentences, helping convey the right meaning and making your writing easier to read. First up, we have the period, or full stop if you're in the UK. It's used at the end of a sentence, bringing a full stop to your thoughts. For example, I love pizza. Simple enough, right? Next, the question mark. This one's pretty straightforward. It goes at the end of an interrogative sentence, like, do you like coffee? Then, there's the exclamation mark. Use this to express strong emotion or surprise, like, what a beautiful bed. But use it sparingly. Too many exclamation marks can make your writing seem overly dramatic. And let's not forget the comma. It's used to separate items in a list or to take a little pause in a sentence. For instance, I need milk, eggs, and bread from the store. Remember, punctuation is all about clarity. It's like the seasoning in a dish. Too little and it's bland. Too much and it's overwhelming. But the right amount can make your sentences sing. In the next section, we'll cover how to use simple sentences effectively to convey precise and clear thoughts or ideas. So stick around. Now, let's talk about our final topic, using simple sentences effectively to convey precise and clear thoughts or ideas. You might think that complex sentences are more sophisticated, but often simple sentences are the most powerful. Think of a simple sentence as a spotlight. It focuses the reader's attention on one idea, one image, or one emotion at a time, making your message crystal clear. For example, the sun set, the sky turned pink. Each sentence paints a vivid picture, doesn't it? However, the key is to balance. If all your sentences are short and simple, your writing can sound choppy. Just varying sentence length and structure keeps your writing interesting and engaging. So, while using complex sentences can provide detail and nuance, don't underestimate the power of a simple sentence to convey your thoughts and ideas precisely. They can be your secret weapon in clear and effective communication. And that wraps up our journey through constructing simple sentences. Remember, understanding sentence structure is a crucial part of mastering the art of communication. With practice, you'll be crafting clear, effective sentences in no time. Keep learning and keep practicing.